sure most of you know about the Columbine incident that happened on April 20th. Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, they set up bombs in the cafeteria of the high school. And as they were supposed to go off, students and teachers would be running out of the school, and they were just going to stand there and shoot them. Luckily, their bombs didn't go off, but they invaded the school. They killed 12 students and one teacher. It was the fourth most violent massacre to ever take place. The first student shot was Rachael Scott. Rachael was an exuberant teenager who naturally reached out to those around her. She had no enemies. On April 20th, 1999, at the age of 17, Rachael would leave home never to return again. 17-year-old Rachael Scott sat down outside on a beautiful sunny day in Colorado to have lunch with one of her friends. She never thought it would be her last time to have lunch. As the two boys started their gunfire, Rachael just so happened to be one of the first victims of the crime sitting outside. Here's a little about Rachael. Rachael Joy Scott was born August 5th, 1981 to Daryl Scott and Beth Nemo. She had two older sisters, Bethany and Dana, and two younger brothers, Craig and Mike. At the time of her death, she was an aspiring writer and actress in school. She was known for her friendliness and compassionate nature. Rachael left behind 6 diaries and several essays about her belief in God and how she wanted to change the world through small acts of kindness. On the back of Rachael's dresser, she had this picture drawn. It says, "These hands belong to Rachael Joy Scott and will someday touch millions of people's hearts." According to Rachael's friends and family, she always knew she would die young, but she would have an impact on many lives. A few years before she passed, she wrote a book. It was called My Ethics, My Codes of Life. Some things she said in there, I would hope, her friends always ask her, like, why do you trust people so easily? She said, "I would hope that people would put the same faith in me. Trust and honesty is an investment you put in people. If you build enough trust in them and show yourself to be honest, they will do the same in you. I value honesty so much, and it is an expectation I have in myself. I will put honesty before the risk of humiliation, before selfishness, and anything else less worthy of the gospel." She said, "Even in being honest and trustworthy, I do not come off cold and heartless. Compassion and honesty go hand in hand. Even if enough of each is put into every situation, I admire those who trust and are trustworthy." Now, toward the end of her story, Rachael said, "My codes may seem like a fantasy that can never be reached, but test them for yourself and see what the kind of effect they have on the lives of people around you. You may just start a chain reaction." Now, after Rachael's death, a few days after that, all her belongings were still at the school, and it was all under investigation. And her father got a phone call from a man in Ohio, and he said, "I've been having a dream about your daughter." He said, "And I can see her eyes, and she's crying." And as her tears hit the ground, new life begins. And when they got her book back, when they got her book bag back, in the back of one of her journals, she had this picture. As you can see, it's the eyes, and then as 13 tears fall down, a new flower begins, and 13 was the amount of people that were killed that day. I've accepted Rachael's challenge. A small act of kindness, you never know how far that will go. If you just follow these 5 easy steps, you may change somebody's life one day. Just look for the best in others, eliminate prejudice, dare to dream, set goals, keep a journal, choose positive influences, kind words and actions equal huge results, and just start a chain reaction.
Any questions for Billy?
Is that like a national, like when we log online, or?
Yeah, you can go to rachelschallenge.org, and this is just like a brief summary about it. You can read up on the whole thing. You can on there, but yeah.
How did you hear about it, Billy?
In high school, we actually had Texas Tech's old quarterback Harold Graham. He came in, and he's part of their organization, and he gave this presentation to us.
Did you see it in your school? Did you see an effect in your school?
Well, yeah, a lot of kids had changed, from being, not so mean, like they weren't so mean, because, if those kids that that went out and did the massacre. If, you know, if somebody would have just shown them a small act of kindness, maybe it would have changed their outlook on what they were going to do that day.
You know, I've heard it both ways. I've heard they were horribly bullied, and then I've heard the other side that they weren't. And so I don't know where the truth lies.
Yeah, what I looked up, they had been bullied, and they just wanted to get revenge back at everybody, not just the ones that were bullying them, but everybody in the school.
Any other questions? Okay, all right, thank you, Billy.